Hey, social media family. Hey, overcomers. How are you guys feeling today? I'm Ramona Phillips, the Healthy Mind Strategist, helping hurting people grow past that trauma. Well, I want to say thank you to my new subscribers. That's helping me to get to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for those of you who have already subscribed. So anyway, I felt the Lord's, as I was worshiping today. It's like I heard the Lord say expectations, it flashed in my mind, a friend of mine who was struggling because of her expectations with her husband and her daughter, especially during the holiday season. So I just heard the Lord, remind me that a lot of us can sometimes get caught up in expectations, and that can steal the joy of the season. We have to think about God on purpose, put on that worship music and everything. For those of us who choose to celebrate Christmas for Jesus, right? Celebrating Jesus, right? So anyway, I'm going to read something about expectations before I go, because it's important that we're taking responsibility for our mental health, right? So that's my niche. I am a peer supporter, best-selling author as well, and a speaker, and I'm also the founder of no, I gotta wake up. Okay, I'm also the founder of Traumadefeated. Okay, Traumadefeated.llc. So anyway, I'm also a coach, which is basically the same as a peer supporter. Okay, so anyway, it is our job to identify our needs and then determine a balanced way of getting those needs met. We ultimately expect God, not one particular person, to be our source. It is unreasonable to expect anyone to be able or willing to meet our every request. We are responsible for asking for what we want and need. It's the other person's responsibility to freely choose whether or not to respond to our request. So if we try to manipulate another person to be there for us, that's called controlling behavior. We don't want to do that. If we try to manipulate or coerce, say things to try to get them to do it our way, to get what we want, that's called controlling, and that's like witchcraft. God don't like it, okay? There's a difference between asking and demanding. There is a difference also between asking and demanding. Usually like when my birthday comes up or Mother's Day or something comes up, right, where I know we usually will celebrate. I've learned a long time ago to ask for what I want. I ask my son, I ask my daughter, can you get this for me, right? Because I feel as though I deserve to be celebrated. Although I celebrate myself, first of all, I get myself something, okay? Especially for my birthday. I make sure I celebrate myself, make plans for myself, and I let my family know this is what I'm going to do. Like, even if, let's just say I plan a trip or something. Okay, well, mommy is going away for a couple of days for her birthday, but I'll be back on my birthday so we can get together and spend some time together, right? Or, I'm going to this show. I'm going, I went to the concert last year, but that was like just before my birthday. But the bottom line is I make plans to do things for myself. And then anything else is a bonus. So, I might ask my children, can you get this? Can you pick up those shoes for me? Or, something like that. And they're glad to do it. So my point is it's a lot better than sitting back waiting to see what people are going to do to celebrate you, So it's important we start with celebrating ourselves, right? So there's a difference between asking and demanding as well. We want love that is freely given. We want love that is freely given, right? Freely given. It is unreasonable and unhealthy to expect one person to be the source for meeting all of our needs. Ultimately, we will become angry and resentful, and that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid that anger and resentment because people did not act the way or respond the way we wanted them to act. Ultimately, we will become angry and resentful, maybe even punishing. I remember one year, a few years ago, I asked my son asked me what I wanted. I told him what I wanted. I guess he didn't think that was good enough, right? And he gave me what he wanted to give me. And I tried not to have a little attitude, but I did have a little attitude. And he gave me a really nice gift. He gave me a designer bag, but that's not what I wanted. I already have a designer bag or whatever. But the bottom line is that's not what I wanted. So anyway, I had to work through that disappointment. I had to keep reminding myself, he wanted this is what he wanted me to have, and he loves me. this is what he wanted me to have, and he loves me, right? So, but I had to work through that because I told him what I wanted. Don't ask me for what ask me what I want and then give me what you want to give me. But still had to work through but I had to, in other words, I had to acknowledge my feelings, okay? Because I did have a little attitude. I had a little anger about it. Like, didn't I tell him this is what I needed? To me, what I told him, it was something that I needed, and he gave me something that he wanted me to have. But still, I had to work through the anger, work through the emotions, work through the feelings of it, and then finally get the opportunity to just release that. All the while, I still was grateful. I know my son loves me, and he got me what he thought he wanted me to have, right? But anyway, so moving right along. So ultimately, we will become angry and resentful if we have unrealistic expectations, or sometimes people will still do what they want to do. So it is reasonable to have certain and well-defined expectations of our spouse, children, and friends. If a person cannot or will not be there for us, then we need to take responsibility for ourselves in that relationship. We may need to set a boundary, alter our expectations, or change the limits of the relationship to accommodate that person's unavailability. We do this for ourselves. It is reasonable to sprinkle our wants and needs around and to be realistic about how much we ask or expect of any particular person. We can trust ourselves to know what's reasonable. The issue of expecting goes back to knowing that we are responsible for identifying our own needs, believing they deserve to get met, and discover an appropriate, satisfactory way to do that in our lives, right? So, like, for example, celebrating ourselves, buying something really nice for ourselves. Everything else is a bonus, right? So today, we want to strive for reasonable expectations, especially this holiday season where a lot of times people really do get caught up in the gift giving, right? So we want to still and show people gratitude, even if it's something that we don't want them to have. I remember many years ago, I gave a relative like I didn't really know what to get her, right? But I bought her like this whole bathroom set, right? The whole set. And she looked at it and she said, this is a house gift. Or this is a house gift. This is not a, gift, like a personal gift for me. But now I realize, okay, you want something more personal. You like your gifts to be more personal. But still, her attitude was like stanky. My feelings was hurt, so we want to be aware of hurting people's feelings, like the pocketbook thing with my son. I dare not let him see that I was a little disappointed. I showed him that I was grateful, and I had to work through my own feelings. So anyway, and we want to still show people love and respect. It's not more so about the gift than it is the thought, right? That's what I kept reminding myself. It was about the thought. My son really wanted to get me something that he thought was better than what I even asked for, right? So anyway, today we want to strive for reasonable expectations about getting our needs met. And especially in our relationships, because that's what it's going to be connected to, our relationships, okay? So I'm Ramona Phillips, the Healthy Mind Strategist. If you need coaching, if you're struggling in this area, find yourself struggling with expectations, depression, anger, resentment, reach out to me. I'm going to put everything in the description, okay? I'll talk to you guys later.